she's creaking. The Lynx is creaking a little bit. 6 a.m. Monday, May 19th. And that is the wind forcing the ship against the dock here in Martha's Vineyard, or more specifically, Vineyard Haven, also known as Tisbury, Vineyard Harbor Hotel, the mast, and ship is just waking up. See if I can get away from the ship to try and not wake the crew that have had a long shift. We've been moving and the seas were kind of rough yesterday, but you want wind when you're in a sailboat, right? I'm gonna get away from the ship a little bit. I'm gonna go over here and find a spot where I can talk without bothering too many people or having to answer too many questions. Yeah, he was asking what boat that was and all about it, and we're really happy to answer all the questions, and we've been really busy on tour. I went over to the Black Dog last evening for dinner. I didn't finish editing until late yesterday, and today could be a similar day due to, well, I'm not very good in making videos while the ship is going up and down in 4-foot seas. That was the case yesterday. So I am prone to seasickness, and I didn't get sick, but I didn't feel good, and I'm certainly grateful to have any kind of connection here, internet connection, running along the beach now. And also my phone charge doesn't really charge when there's no power or on board you're sailing. That's just wind power. And so there are a lot of challenges. So I didn't really get yesterday's edited and done until this morning. And so what's going to happen today? Well, we're going to transit over to Nantucket, and it is really windy. I'm going to hope to get it out before 8 a.m., but if that doesn't happen, it might not be until 6 p.m. Here's the regional weather, well, temperature and wind roundup from 6 a.m. Temperatures were in the 40s and 50s. It is cold. My fingers are cold. The wind gusting to 33 miles per hour in Boston and New Bedford. I looked around at the webcams in northern New England. It's just warm enough that it's rain and not snow. There's sugar bush this morning, raining. There's a little snow left on one of the trails up there up top, but so it's not snowing in New England. Yesterday, you probably didn't even see yesterday's yet, the NAM did show snow in our higher elevations today. And I mentioned in the forecast, I don't know, I probably shouldn't use the NAM, but I like the fact that it shows snow, so maybe it'll be right. But so far it wasn't right after, bailing on the NAM last week because it was so bad with that rainfall. So I went to the HRRR, kind of hustling down the road here, trying to hide from the wind, see if I can find a quiet spot to shoot from. I was up with the sun this morning and trying to finish the edit and get it published, and it got published this morning, so hopefully we get another one published. All right, I found a spot here. What is that, a euonymus there? But the cars are going by. Challenges that I enjoy getting out the door for weather and more every morning. And got some old oysters, conch here, so bear with me. The weather, I know, gets really stale really fast if you don't get it done and out early. And we are just basically in a really windy week of weather with not much sunshine, very cold, but also fortunate that we're not getting these tornadoes. The last week's severe weather system is the one that came through New England with all the rain, some severe weather here on Saturday. That's now exiting to the right, but there's a new one that came in off the Pacific a couple days ago, and yesterday it really lit up in parts of Nebraska, Colorado, Kansas, Oklahoma, more than 30 tornadoes, and they were long-lived, huge tornadoes. I don't know the story on how much damage or injury was done from those, but certainly it's probably another weather disaster. And hearing Doug Kent tell me that I should have been watching Max Velocity last night, and I'm sure Max was doing a great job, but I'm trying to get a lot done here too. And today's going to be another severe weather day. Here's the Severe Prediction Center outlook for today. And it's an enhanced to moderate area there right across Oklahoma, a little further east and south than yesterday, Oklahoma into Arkansas, North Texas, and into this lower Mississippi River Valley. And so one system after another coming in, anomalous cold fueling these severe weather outbreaks. Very fast jet stream, very warm to hot in the southeastern United States, 80s with dew points, with temperatures in the 80s and 90s and dew points in the 70s. And that up against here's the low pressure system in the middle of the nation at 2 a.m. today. 6Z is 2 a.m. And anytime you get, this time of year especially, a low that's stronger than 1,000 millibars, this is 995, and you get that squall front south of the center of the low. That's that orange kind of line, and I'm not sure if that's a dry line or not. But then look to the left of the low pressure system in Colorado. See those 4 snowflakes all together? That's heavy snow with a temperature in the 20s up in the mountains west of Denver. So that's a winter storm in Colorado and severe weather, and that's going to produce severe weather again today. And that storm is going to get here on Wednesday, not with severe weather. We have a block forming in the atmosphere. Here's the satellite image. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to turn around this way. The satellite image shows 3 real powerful storms, especially for this time of year. One exiting North America there with another triple point low east of Labrador this morning, and that's responsible for all our wind and clouds and instability here in New England right now. And then that other one right in the middle of the nation, that's really wound up cyclone, and you can see that one stretching out from the northern plains all the way down to the Gulf. And then a new one coming on to British Columbia in western North America, and that one is going to get here, that one on the far left, into New England about next Monday or Tuesday or so. So they're all lined up, and there's a block in the atmosphere. You're aware of the North Atlantic Oscillation, also known as the Greenland Block. It is as -1, as it has been all year long. So these systems come across the nation, then they exit south of New England, keeping us on the cold side, even though yesterday one of the run of the GFS showed warm and hot air trying to get here in about a week. Today's output is different. And I think I probably should just skip the NAM high res. It shows just some rain showers circulating through here today. Not as much rain. You know, Mount Washington yesterday. Did I show Mount Washington yet? Mount Washington yesterday, here it is. The deck is coated with ice this morning. And Mount Washington was in the instability rain yesterday. 1.4 inches of rain last 24 hours. Temperature down to 27 degrees this morning with a wind about 50-55 miles an hour. So winter on top of Mount Washington. And it's not snowing there. So I don't see any snow in New England today. So the NAM from yesterday was wrong. And it may snow this week, but we just can't see when and where and how much. I mean, I've seen on the circulations, on the socials, some people showing a foot of snow in southern Vermont, but so far it's not verifying, and I don't think it's going to verify, but I do think we are going to see some snowflakes in New England this week. And so for that reason, I'm going to the GFS right now to see if we see any blue on the map. Our low east of New England kind of stalled and retrograding with showers rotating through here, and it's going to get more windy today than yesterday as the tight pressure gradient tightens with a 1030 high coming out of Ontario and the 995 low exiting slowly to the east. We talked about how this was going to slow down and wobble, and sure enough, that's what's happening. And that storm coming out of the middle of the country with another severe weather outbreak is going to be getting close to us. It looks like the primary low goes to South Dakota, right? And a new one forms over Ohio, and then that goes right along south of Interstate 90, along Interstate 80, and gets off the coast of New Jersey with new rain coming at New England after the rain lets up. The wind lets up tomorrow. Wind is going to start ramping up again Wednesday, and this storm is going to slow, and we're going to have several waves of low pressure in the order of 995 millibars going right over our benchmark. And that means heavy rain and wind. Wind could be 40 to 50 miles an hour, at least in gusts at the coast here, including Nantucket, where we're headed on Wednesday, especially Wednesday night. And Thursday looks like the worst of this storm. And then it kind of goes to the east. And you do see some blue there showing up in Maine on parts of Thursday and Friday, but that 540 line's off to our west. So it does not look like a snowstorm. I think there will be some snow in our higher elevations, but it's a 1 to 3 inch rainstorm for southern New England, but the thunder stays away. And then Saturday, some leftover rain showers in here. There's a front and an upper level low and a surface trough rotating on the back of that departing low that's only departing slowly because of the Greenland block. And then you have a new severe weather outbreak happening in the middle of the nation. There's a lot of cold still left in Canada, and that severe storm coming out of the middle of the nation next Monday or so is also going to try to run the Great Lakes, but it's going to run into the block, and we're going to have a new low forming off to our west and south, which is different than the GFS. GFS yesterday showed that low going into Canada, and we would be on the warm side. Now it shows it going off to our south. Now we're going into Tuesday. So this goes out to next Wednesday, and sure enough, there's another low, weak one in the Gulf of Maine, but that would keep our flow coming in from the north and northeast, at least in northern New England. Southern New England, that would be a west wind with drying, but still very cold aloft. And, you know, the odds of that being right are very low, but it just means that we are in a very active pattern and with really no end in sight. Okay. I think that's the end of the weather because you might not even get the weather published. We're going to transit to Nantucket this morning. And so I'm not sure if I'm going to have the power or the camera or the internet connection or the sea legs to be able to publish before morning, but that is my goal. I mean, before noontime, published this morning. So really grateful to be here. And Max Dex, we met him. He gave us the sticker up there at Mount Mansfield while we were skiing. What was it, 6 weeks ago we were skiing, Max? And he lives down here on the Vineyard. And he came out to dinner with us at the Black Dog, and he gifted us with some syrup. And he gave Troy, the pirate, some syrup, and he just guzzled down there. He just guzzled that syrup that would last you or I several breakfasts. He had as a nice evening cocktail. That was pretty funny. And yeah, so it's really fun hanging around with everybody and seeing my old friends from Martha's Vineyard, and got the ship together and went over and had dinner at the Black Dog. Ran into Morgan Douglas and lost his dad. Captain Bob Douglas passed away last month, founder of the Black Dog right here in Martha's Vineyard. Now there are Black Dog shops and logos all over the place, so condolences to the Douglas family. But we did a 2 cannon salute and 8 bells to that, which I didn't get on video. I'm very gigabyte challenged, and so just getting it together however I can. Grateful and on this tour, and today we, Lord willing, pull into Nantucket Harbor. If you're around at 2:30 and you're on Nantucket, come over and give us a wave. The winter home is St. Simons, Georgia. The summer home is Nantucket, Massachusetts, and we visit so many ports in between. And Captain Peacock says, today, arriving on Nantucket makes it the first day of summer. Even though it's not going to feel that way with this wind and chill, I'll try and get you some highlights if I can stay on my feet today. For tomorrow's and more. So for today's and more, I captured a little bit of the beauty before the clouds filled in, coming through a Quicks hole, and my camera pretty much died. And so the and more is a little bit more brief today, a lot more brief than that historical reenactment in Bristol, Rhode Island. That whole day on Saturday was a once in a lifetime for me, and it was so fun in Bristol. I hope you saw that video. It's the longest one I ever made, and we're gonna have a much shorter and more for today. Here it is. Sunday morning, exiting Narragansett Bay into rolling seas. The Sunday edit is postponed until we are done with rolling seas because you don't want a rolling weatherman. But it's a beautiful morning and sails are coming down up top. Oh yeah, look at that. That was about a 4-foot jog right there. We've got the Betsy Ross flag right over my head, and the Lynx flag up there. Live free or die. Crew up there lowering the top sail. Square rig, I believe it's called. There's the Lynx flag. Good day for sailing. Not a good day for staring at a computer screen and editing. So, out the door weather and more. Maybe 2 of them on a Monday instead of 1 on a Sunday and 1 on a Monday. We'll see how this goes.
Holy shit! Nothing! In, out, to the pen. Half! Belay! Make fast, Todd.
We have heaving seas. They're not breaking, but they're a good 3+ swell. And we're going up and down. Weatherman's going up and down on the ship after a Saturday night. It's a thin line between Saturday night and Sunday morning. And I better put down my editing equipment and just chillax. We got breakers. It's an onshore flow. Clear up and down sailing toward the south. We get the first instability cumulus building. And we've obviously got trawling, catching bait or something. I don't know, is squid done? Fishermen friends, what's going on here? Offshore wind farm. Pirate greasing the table. Okay, following wind and sea. I need that. And there's Buzzards Bay Tower, 70 feet up. That's why the Buzzards Bay wind. The anemometer is so high up, the wind is always stronger at Buzzards Bay Tower. And technically, this is the entrance to the Cape Cod Canal. As we're gonna go into Buzzards Bay here. Just barely make out the Elizabeth Islands, Martha's Vineyard through there, but we gotta cut through the islands and then go over to the Vineyard. And then you get the beginning of the instability cumulus clouds, upper level cooling, and the beginning of showers forming over there near Westport and Wareham, Massachusetts, leaving Rhode Island, going into Massachusetts with white caps and 3 to 4 foot rollers. Oh yeah. And the brand new Betsy Ross flag just out of the package.
Playing into the small boat.
Into the small boat. I don't think you're gonna get far.
Lobster trap dead ahead. Lobster pot dead ahead.
Pull it up. Let's get some lobster. I'm hungry.
Distance.
Repeat.
Distance.
Too late.
Too late.
Dead ahead.
Dead under.
Give me distance as well.
It was like all
Sun is up and bright, but it is cold from Quicksall in the Elizabeth Islands. Wind has picked up. We've only got a couple sails up, but this is all wind power right now. Cutting through Quicksall, Elizabeth Islands. Brisk noonday sun, but the temperature's coming down and the wind just ramped up. We're sustained probably about 18 knots now. And there's a wind chill factor. Exiting Quicksall. Behind us.
This is the Venturi coming off the land.
Venturi.
That real funneling effect.
The Italian wind.
What is this?
What is what?
I don't know. Is this a boat?
Yeah, that's what we're on.
Knots, steady toward the Vineyard. All wind, power. What is wind? Air moving from high to low pressure due to differential heating of the Earth's surface by the sun. Upper level low and cyclogenesis happening to our north in Maine. That's just instability cloudiness. Cape Cod and Nantucket Sound. Now, they're those braces to catch more wind. That's what's happening. All right, we're on land and we're pursuing birds. I think I hear the mockingbird. What is it? We're in Vineyard Haven. Max is here. Just got me. Oh, there it is. That's the mockingbird. I called it a starling the other day by accident.
Eastern gray bird.
Mockingbird. Oh, yeah. Are you mocking me? So Max says that's an eastern gray bird, but it's got the colors of a mockingbird. And it looks like a baby. It's pretty small. And then they're just protecting the other birds. Yeah, here he's just mocking me. You're pretty talented. And if I... What a show off, huh? While we're here, Max is here. We last saw him skiing. Coco Ross, 29.45. Barometric pressure. Falling pressure, stormy weather ahead. The pressure exerted by the atmosphere is a consequence of gravitational attraction exerted upon the column of air lying directly above the point of question. Try what is wind?
Wind is air moving from high to low.
Pressure.
Pressure.
Much simpler than what your shirt says. But thanks for taking a complex issue and making it even more complex. Oh yeah, and thanks for charging up my phone because we missed going by Woods Hole and Obstacle Light or whatever that's called. Yeah, we're here. It was a windy day, is a windy day, and now I'm not even edited yesterday's before I get to edit today's and out the door weather and more and more and more.
That shouldn't be called a mockingbird because it makes its own sounds.
I don't know, it sounds pretty talented to me. And he obviously wants to be on out the door weather and more. Can you play us through a couple of time lapses from Weymouth and Bass River so I can call it a day? So the bird's gone, but Max gave us a conch. I don't know if this is gonna work like a normal conch. You put your ear to it. If you put your ear to it, can you hear the ocean?
Says there's a hole in the boat.
Oh, you're a whole lot of fun. Thanks for coming. Max is a man of many things, including photography and stickers from his photos. And Haley's putting one right on her water bottle. How exciting is that? You just saw her like 100 feet up in the air a few minutes ago. He got a video up there.
Talented crew here.
I don't know, let's see if I can put it on straight. The real testing column.
There, yeah, straight lines. Awesome.
Thank you.
That's an honor. It's gonna travel the 7 seas.
Absolutely.